Listen closely. Something is happening, not with bombs, not with fire, but with silence, with screens, with power. The world isn't at war, not yet, but it's not at peace either. China is rising. The West is watching. Tension is building, day by day, deal by deal. And now, in 2025, everything feels like it could break. This is not just news. This is your world, your future. And the next chapter, it's being written right now. Welcome to the next front, China versus the West, 2025. Chapter 1. A New Cold War? The world is changing, fast. People can feel it, in the news, in the markets, in the air. It's 2025. And something is not right. China is rising. The United States is watching. They don't trust each other. They speak, but they do not listen. Is it war? Number. There are no soldiers in the streets, no planes in the sky, no fire, no smoke, not yet. But still, this feels like war. Not with bullets, but with rules, with deals, with secrets. A war of power, a war for the future. Some people call it a Cold War. They remember the first one. The United States and the Soviet Union. They never fought directly, but they fought with fear, with spies, with lies, with a race to be number one. Now, it's happening again, but different. This time, the fight is not about bombs. It's about chips, not potato chips, computer chips. Tiny, powerful pieces that make everything work. Phones, cars, planes, even weapons. China makes more and more. It builds faster, smarter, cheaper. The West, especially the US, is worried. Who controls the technology? Controls the world. That's the new rule. But it's not just about tech. It's about trade. China builds roads and ports in Asia, Africa, Europe. It gives money, builds railways, offers help. But some say it's not just help. It's control. The US and its allies see this and say, stop. They ban Chinese companies. They block apps. They change laws. But China answers, you're just scared. You want to keep power for yourself. So, the fight grows, not with guns, but with pressure. Sanctions, deals, secrets. It's hard to know what's true. On the news, both sides say they are right. But what does the world see? Fear? Confusion? People losing jobs? Prices going up? Anger growing? Two giants staring at each other, not moving, but not standing still. Each day, the tension grows. Each day, the line gets thinner. One wrong step, and the world could fall. This is not the Cold War of the past. This is something new, something quiet, but dangerous. It is a war without sound, but not without pain. A war with no bombs, but still it burns. And the question now is this: who will lead? who will follow, and who will pay the price. The next chapter of the world is opening, and no one knows how it will end. Not yet. Chapter 2. The trade war gets hotter. It started small, just numbers on paper, just taxes on trade. But soon, it became something else, something louder, something deeper, something harder to stop. The U.S. said, China's not playing fair. They take our ideas. They sell too cheap. They don't follow the rules. So, the U.S. added tariffs, taxes on goods coming from China. China replied, we protect our future. We do what's best for us. And they added their own tariffs on American cars, on soya, on meat. Both sides pointed fingers. Both sides raised their voices. And the wall between them got higher and colder. It hit the farmers first, in Iowa, in Nebraska. Corn sat in trucks. No buyers, no exports. Families worried. Some lost their farms. Decades of work, gone in one bad season. In China, the factories slowed down. Lights off, machines silent. Young workers sent home. Cities once full of life, now quiet. But the leaders? They did not stop. They pushed harder. More bans, more blocks, more rules. The U.S. said, we'll build at home. We don't need China. China said, fine, we'll sell to the rest of the world. And so, the world felt the fire. Prices rose, toys, phones, clothes, everything cost more. Stores were empty. Shipping was slow. People grew tired, angry, confused. But no one wanted to back down. Because this war, this trade war, was not just about money. It was about pride, about power. Each side wanted to win, not just the argument, but the future. In meetings, the talks failed. Smiles on the outside, anger underneath. And still, it grew. The war reached the ports. Ships waited in line. Some turned back. It touched students. Visa rules changed. Dreams delayed. Doors closed. It touched investors. Markets dropped. Rich men lost billions in hours. And still, it was not enough to stop it. Because behind every tax was a message. Behind every ban, a warning. We are strong. We will not bend. We will protect our people. But who are the people? Are they the farmers in Kansas? The workers in Shenzhen? The mother in London trying to buy shoes for her child? They didn't start this, but they pay for it. Every day. This trade war, it began with simple numbers. But now, in 2025, it's a storm. And the world, it's caught in the middle, waiting, watching, hoping someone, anyone, will stop the fire before it burns everything. Chapter 3. China's tech power rises. China is not just building roads anymore, not just bridges or trains. It's building something else now, something invisible but powerful. Chips, tiny chips, smaller than your fingernail, but they run the world. And robots, machines that move, think, work, without rest, in factories, in homes, in war. And then there's AI, artificial intelligence. It learns, it adapts, it watches, and it remembers. In 2025, China is not catching up. It's leading. It leads in 5G. Fast internet, so fast it feels like magic. Messages, videos, calls, all in a flash. It leads in electric cars, silent, clean, smart. Cars that drive themselves. It leads in surveillance, cameras on every street, face scanning in every shop. The system knows who you are before you say a word. Apps like TikTok, WeChat, Temu. They're not just for fun. They shape how people think, what they see, what they buy. They reach across oceans, into pockets, into schools, into lives. And the West is watching closely and nervously. Because Chinese tech companies are growing. Fast. Too fast for comfort. Huawei, Alibaba, ByteDance. These names weren't known 10 years ago. Now, they are everywhere. And behind them? Support, money, strategy. This isn't random growth. It's a plan. A big one. The West starts to ask, is China winning the tech race? In Washington, leaders hold meetings. They talk of bans, of blocks. They fear spying. They fear control. In Europe, people delete apps. Governments pause deals. Voices say, is this safe? But it's hard to stop, because Chinese tech is fast and cheap. It works, and people like what works. Still, something doesn't feel right. The power is shifting, and no one wants to say it out loud. But the truth? China doesn't just make things now. It creates, it designs, it leads. And for the West, that's new. That's scary. Because whoever leads in tech leads in the future. And this isn't just about machines. It's about minds. It's about trust. Who controls your phone, your data, your choices? That's the real question. And in 2025, that question has no clear answer. Not yet. But one thing is sure. The race is on. And China is far ahead. Chapter 4. America Strikes Back. The U.S. had waited, watched, worried. For years it saw China rise, faster, bigger, smarter. And then, in 2025, something changed. Washington said, enough. No more waiting, no more watching. The U.S. banned Chinese apps. TikTok, WeChat, gone from American phones. It blocked chip sales. No more high-tech parts for Chinese companies. It punished U.S. businesses working with China. Fines, limits, warnings. They called it national security. America must protect its future, said the leaders. We can't let China control our technology, our data, our lives. Some people agreed. Others asked questions. But across the ocean, in Beijing, it felt different. It didn't sound like security. It sounded like fear. Why now? Asked Chinese officials. Because we're strong? Because we're winning? They saw it as a move to stop them, to block progress, not fair, not friendly. And so, the lines were drawn. The U.S. didn't act alone. It called its allies. Leaders met in London, in Tokyo, in Berlin. They spoke in quiet rooms, closed doors, tense smiles. And soon, there were new rules, new deals, plans to cut China out of the world's tech system. A tech alliance, some called it. Shared factories, shared secrets, shared power, but always with one goal: slow China down. In Silicon Valley, companies raced to move factories away from Asia. In Europe, leaders reviewed every deal, every app. The West was closing its doors, building walls, made not of stone, but of code. And the message? Clear. You can't rise without us. But would it work? China didn't stop. It made its own chips. It built new systems. It looked to the global South, Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia. It said, if the West won't buy, others will. And they did. The world was splitting. Not just in maps, but in machines. Two systems, two powers, two futures. And in the middle, people, workers, students, families. Some lost jobs. Some lost friends. Some lost hope. Because the fight was not just between governments. It was in daily life. What phone can you use? Which website can you visit? Who can you trust? Every choice became political. The U.S. had struck back hard, fast. But the question still hangs in the air, like a storm waiting to break. Will it work? Or did the strike come too late? Chapter 5. Europe takes a side. Europe doesn't want this fight. Not again. Not after wars, borders, history. But now, in 2025, it has no choice. The world is splitting, East and West, China and the United States, and Europe stuck in the middle. Should it stay close to the U.S., its old friend, its partner in war, in peace, in values? Or should it do more business with China, the rising power, the maker of goods, the builder of tomorrow? It's not an easy choice. Some countries feel fear. They see China's growing power and say, wait, is this safe? They worry about control, about freedom, about becoming dependent, too dependent. But others? They see opportunity, cheap goods, big markets, green energy, fast trains. Why not work with both? They ask. Germany hesitates. It sells cars to China, lots of them. Factories are full, workers are busy, but the government knows one wrong move and it could all disappear. France speaks louder. We must defend Europe's future, says the president. No one should control us, not Beijing, not Washington. In Eastern Europe, things are less clear. Some countries look west, others look east. They take loans from China, but want security from NATO. They want both, but may get neither. And while leaders talk, the people worry. A farmer in Spain asks, "Why is my wheat not selling?" A factory worker in Poland wonders, "Will my job move to China?" A student in Sweden says, "I just want peace. Why is everything a fight?" But the world keeps turning. Meetings continue, deals are made and broken. Pressure builds from both sides. America says, "Stand with us." China says, "There is room for all." But everyone knows, Europe must choose. And the choice? It's more than politics. It's about values. It's about identity. Does Europe still believe in freedom, privacy, open speech? Or will it follow the money? That's the real question. In Brussels, the leaders sit late into the night. Maps on the walls, coffee on the table. Eyes tired, minds racing. They know the truth. There's no perfect answer. If they stay with the U.S., they risk missing China's future. If they go with China, they risk losing their soul. Loyalty or profit? Heart or hand? The clock is ticking, and the world is watching. Europe wanted peace. It hoped to stay neutral. But in 2025, silence is no longer safe. It must speak. It must act. It must decide. And whatever it chooses, there will be a price. Chapter 6. The Digital Battlefield. This war is not fought with tanks or guns or soldiers marching through the streets. Number. This war is silent and invisible. It happens on screens, in code, in the shadows of the internet. It happens every second and everywhere. Hackers don't wear uniforms. They sit in dark rooms, typing, breaking in, stealing secrets. They don't need keys. They don't need doors. They just need access. A password. A weak system. One simple click. Then it begins. Banks freeze. Hospitals shut down. Planes are delayed. Power goes out, and no one knows why. Governments call it cyber war, but it feels more like chaos. Spyware hides in phones and laptops. It watches, it listens, it waits. Every message you send, every photo, every search, it can all be seen. Nothing feels safe anymore. To stop this, countries build walls, not real ones, digital ones, firewalls, strong, high, and secret. They block apps. They control websites. They watch every post, every comment, every like. In some places, people can't even see the truth. Because truth is now a weapon too. Fake news spreads fast. Too fast. A lie can travel the world before anyone sees the facts. And these lies? They're not just rumors. They're attacks. Planned. Targeted. made to divide people, to confuse, to control. And now, a new player has entered the field. Artificial intelligence. AI learns quickly. It writes news, creates videos, pretends to be people. It speaks with your voice, answers like your friend, but it's not real. It's smart, but it doesn't care. It has no heart, no truth, no soul, and yet it's used by companies, by governments, by those who want power. So what is this new battlefield? It's not in the sky. It's not in the sea. It's in your phone, your data, your mind. It's what you believe, what you choose, what you fear. And here's the hardest part. You can't see the enemy. Not clearly. They hide behind screens, behind code, behind silence. So, who can win this kind of war? A war where trust is broken, where truth is a question, where every click could be a risk. No one knows, but one thing is sure. The battlefield is everywhere, and everyone is on it, even you. Chapter 7. India, the silent player. While China and the West fight, India waits and watches, quiet, careful, patient. In this global game of power, India doesn't shout. It listens. But don't be fooled by the silence. India is not weak. It is not small. It has people, more than 1 billion. Young, smart, ready to work, ready to build. It has brains, a rising tech industry, coders, engineers, scientists, some of the best in the world. It has dreams, big ones, for space, for innovation, for a future on its own terms. India wants peace. Yes, but it also wants a seat at the table, not to be used, not to be pushed, but to be respected. So while the US and China fight for control, India moves carefully. One day, it signs a deal with the US for defense, for trade, for technology. The next day, it talks with China about borders, about business, about future plans. Some call this strategy, some call it risk. But India calls it balance. It does not choose sides quickly. It remembers its past. It remembers being ruled, being told what to do, what to think, what to be. Never again. Now, India decides for itself. It builds phones, launches satellites, grows faster than ever. Still, it has problems, poverty, pollution, tensions at home. But it also has hope, and hope is powerful. Young Indians dream of more. Not just jobs, but purpose. Not just peace, but pride. The world sees this and waits. Can India rise while the giants clash? Can it become a third path? A bridge between East and West? A voice of reason in a world full of noise? No one knows yet. Because India is still moving, still growing, still choosing. But one thing is clear. It is no longer just watching. It is playing, quietly, smartly, strongly. And when the dust settles, when the shouting ends, the silent player may become the leader. Chapter 8. The Price of Conflict. Everything has a cost, and this conflict, this silent, growing war between giants, is no different. It's not just about politics, not just about leaders shaking hands or walking away. It's about people, ordinary people. You, me, all of us. In 2025, the price is everywhere. Groceries cost more, fuel is expensive, phones are harder to find. Simple things, everyday things, now feel heavy. In small towns in America, factories close, jobs move overseas, parents sit at kitchen tables staring at bills, wondering how to get through the month. In cities across China, workers wait. Construction slows, shipping stops, fewer exports, fewer hours, less pay. And this? This isn't just happening in 2 countries. The whole world feels it. In Africa, loans are delayed. In Europe, energy prices rise. In South America, trade deals collapse. Fear spreads. Tourists cancel trips. Investors hold back. Children hear their parents whispering at night, worried about the future. And it's not just money that's lost. It's trust. Old friendships break. Alliances shake. Neighbors question each other. Whose side are you on? Can we still work together? The answers are no longer easy because the world has become colder, darker, more divided. Walls go up, not just at borders, but in hearts. People close their doors, their minds, their hopes. News becomes noise, truth becomes fog, and peace feels far away. Yet still, the fight goes on. No guns, no bombs, but sanctions, bans, words like weapons. Leaders talk tough on screens, crowds cheer. But behind closed doors, they worry too. They know this cannot last forever. But no one wants to be the first to blink. So the pressure builds, day by day, step by step. And the cost? It grows, not in numbers, not just in dollars, but in something deeper. In the tired eyes of a mother at a grocery store, in the empty streets of a port city, in the silence between friends on opposite sides of the world. This is the true price of conflict. And still, no one says stop. Not yet. Chapter 9. Global Reactions and Fears. It didn't stay between China and the West. Number. The world is too small for that now. Africa feels it. Latin America feels it. Southeast Asia feels it. They are not part of the fight, but they feel the weight, the pressure. Big powers call again and again. Pick a side. The U.S. says, stand with us. Protect freedom. China says, work with us. Build a new future. But many smaller countries say something different. They say, we just want peace and progress. They want jobs, clean water, good roads, safe schools, not another Cold War, not another power game. But the pressure is strong. If they choose China, they might lose Western support. If they choose the U.S., they might lose China's money, China's trade. It's a trap, a tightrope. One wrong step, and everything could fall. So, voices rise. In Kenya, students march in the streets. They hold signs. We are not your battlefield. In Brazil, workers protest price hikes. Imported food costs more now, much more. In the Philippines, fishermen shout at the waves. The sea is crowded with foreign ships, and no one knows who is in control anymore. Leaders speak louder than before. Some say, stay neutral. Others say, we cannot stay silent. They meet in halls. They write long statements. They smile for the cameras. But inside, many feel lost. The world is changing, fast, and not always in ways they can stop. Children ask questions. Why is school more expensive now? Why did Dad lose his job? And parents don't always have the answers. Even inside rich countries, people begin to wonder, is this really the future we want? A world where everything is divided? Where every choice is watched? Where fear is just part of life? The internet is full of noise. Some say war is coming. Some say peace is possible. Some just feel tired. So much noise, but so little clarity. And deep down, people are scared. Scared of losing freedom. Scared of losing peace. Scared of losing each other. Because it's not just governments that are pulling apart. It's families, communities, friendships across borders. A mother in Nigeria, a student in Colombia, a teacher in Thailand. They all ask the same quiet question. What now? And the world listens, but gives no answer. Not yet. Chapter 10. The Future. Peace or division? Now, the world stands at a crossroads. 2 roads, 2 futures, and only one choice. The first road is peace, a future where countries talk, really talk, where leaders listen, where people help each other across borders. In this future, we share knowledge. We trade fairly. We build not just walls, but bridges. We fight climate change. We fix poverty. We teach our children to look forward, not back. Yes, it takes work. Yes, it takes courage. But it's possible. Then, there is the other road, the road of division. A future where walls rise higher and higher, not just around countries, but around hearts, where every nation says, us first, where fear grows and trust fades. This future feels cold, heavy, lonely. In this world, people stop listening, stop caring, stop hoping. Countries spy on each other. They compete instead of cooperate. Truth is hard to find. Kindness becomes rare. And once we go too far down that road, can we turn back? That is the question. Right now, in 2025, the next move is still unknown. Will the US and China keep fighting? Or will they find a new way, one with fewer threats, more understanding? Will Europe speak with one voice? Will Africa, Latin America, and Asia shape their own path together? Will India rise as a leader of balance or be pulled into the storm? No one knows. No one can say for sure. But one thing is clear. The future is being written. Right now. By every decision, every deal, every voice that dares to speak, by the leaders, yes, but also by the people, by the mother who teaches peace at home, by the young engineer who builds safe, open technology, by the journalist who chooses truth over clicks, by you, by me. Because the world does not change all at once. It changes moment by moment, word by word, choice by choice. So we ask ourselves, which future do we want? Peace or division? Hope or fear? The road is open, and the next step is ours.